right, so for lesson 3 today, we are looking at a fillet versus a chamfer. You can read about what these are and why we use them in the PowerPoint. We'll talk about it in class. I'm going to jump straight into making the model today. So, the first couple of steps that you're doing should just be a review of what we did in lesson 2. You are going to make a rectangular prism that's 5 inches by 2.5, 0.25 inches height, and then you have this rectangular cutout that does not go all the way through. That is 3 by 1.5, it is 0.125. And then we are going to add a chamfer along this inner edge right here, and we're going to add 2 fillets, one along the vertical edges of this prism and one along the horizontal edges, and they have different radiuses. And so that is what we will do today. All right, let's switch over to Onshape. So, like I said, the first thing that we are doing is just making this prism with its cutout. Like I said, that should be pretty straightforward. But for both of these, we're going to use a center point rectangle. I'm going to draw this on my top plane. So let's switch over to center point. Go out, click, take your hand off the mouse, and we are going to make this long side 5 inches. We're going to make the short side 2.5 inches. All right, now that that is set, I'm going to click this checkbox, isometric, extrude, and I'll click my rectangle, and I'm going to extrude that by 0.25 inches. Yep. Then I'll do my second one. I want to sketch on top of the prism this time. Again, a center point rectangle. We'll go out. It needs to be centered at the same place that the first rectangle was. The short edge on this one is 1.5 inches. The long edge is 3 inches. All right. That looks good to me. Check. Go to isometric. We will extrude and switch over to remove. I'm going to click here. Now I don't want to go all the way through. I want to go halfway through, or 0.125 inches down. So you should not see a hole to the other side. It is not going all the way through. Check. And there it is. So again, that should be review, nothing new there. The other 3 parts of this are new. So first, we're going to chamfer the inner top edge here. And so this is our chamfer button. When you hover over it, it'll give you a description, but I'll click it. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit so it's easier to see. So I'm going to click these top 4 edges. Now, I was just working on this, so my defaults are going to be a little bit different, but you want to make sure that the chamfer type is set to distance and angle for this one. You set your distance to 0.05 inches, and you make sure that the angle is 45 degrees. When that looks good, and all the right things are checked off, you can click the checkbox, and that's it. And so the second one that we're doing is a fillet on these vertical edges for each of these prisms. So I'm going to find my fillet button, which is to the left of the chamfer button, and I'm going to click my vertical edges. Oh, there we go. For that fourth one, you may have to rotate. Radius is your measurement, control is your distance. And so for the vertical edges, I want that to have a radius of 0.05 inches. And that looks good. All 4 are checked. And so you can see the edges are now rounded. The very last thing that you have to do is fillet again. And I'm gonna click this vertical edge. Now, because we already did this horizontal edge, not vertical, because we already did the vertical edges, it's gonna cause all 4 of these to auto-select. Otherwise there would be an error, but I do want to change my radius from 0.125 to 0.1. Now, if yours doesn't auto-select, you do want to click all 4 of those horizontal edges that are on the top, and make sure that it's rounded through all the way. And that is it. You would click your checkbox and you're done. Make sure that when you finish your work, you click submit. And that is it for lesson 3.